Happy New Year!
Gosh, we made it through 2020.
Did we
It's
though? I
I
think a part of me got left behind that I'm never getting back.
well, I think your face certainly did.
Yeah, I mean my face, I grew a beard at least, so
Oh my
that's
gosh, so
something
did
new.
I.
Oh, fantastic.
I
Wonderful.
didn't have a beard before, I guess. Uh, that's the one way to start an episode. I like it.
Hmm.
Uh, Welcome. It's a new year and we're doing the same shit. Whoa, improvement. But I am recording in a different location now.
Yeah, where exactly are you? This doesn't look
I'm
like
in,
your room.
I'm in my basement.
Okay.
Uh, I have I can directly hook up to my modem from down here, so I have a wired internet connection, which should be more stable. I have been using it for the streaming because that's something that we started doing recently,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and now I'm gonna start doing it whenever we record these because I really do fucking hate it whenever my internet drops and it sounds like a possessed computer and
Yeah,
just
glitch trap right
oh
the
my god! I swear it happens every time I'm trying to make a good point. Like I just every single time I try to like explain my thoughts, it's just
internet just decides
that's
it's not your time.
it's like
It's not your time.
my internet hates me, and we're still paying too much for it. I say I think I'm getting ripped off. Anyway, yeah, it's 2021 now. This still feels weird to say,
Yeah.
and we're still here. We're still hanging in here. We're just gonna keep doing what we've been doing because it's working,
Yeah.
I guess. Uh, you know,
No complaints, so
when this goes up, I will have streamed yesterday for a long period of time. How'd you like that? I don't know
I
because I'm talking
I
about the
can't see the
past.
future. You're asking me the wrong questions.
You
I'm
know,
good at guessing. I'm not good at knowing.
well, I should have streamed all most of the day because I've been saying for a while I was going to stream most of the day on my birthday because that's Thursday. That was
Birth
yesterday, I should say.
birthday
My
time.
God. I gotta start talking like I'm 24, but I'm not yet. Oh boy. But yeah, so hopefully that went well. Who am I kidding? It went well. It happened already, right? Because this is Friday now, officially. Time. Anyway, so yeah, we usually start these off with like the schedule, stuff that's gonna go up in the next few weeks. Um, I don't really have one right now. I know it's going up next week, which is gonna be basically the same setup,
Mm.
and similar to our classic videos about of John guessing stands that he does not know yet. Uh, we're gonna have him see if he can determine whether a name is a real One Piece character or not. We'll see how well that goes.
I'm excited for that because there's so many characters in One Piece. You got to come up with some weird ones, I'd imagine.
I have I have some weird ass names, and I had to. I'm not gonna lie. There were so many names I want, like real characters I wanted to put on there. I had to like stop myself and be like, and take a few off to
Hmm.
make sure there was a fair amount of fake names, so it wasn't just all real names. Although that could have been funny if every single one of them was real. And it's
Yeah, but that would have been.
yes, but no, there are some names that are actually fake on there to make it an actual game. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna be recording that after we record this long batch of other things that will go out in the next few weeks, I assume.
Hopefully.
Hopefully within the next month, I think. Oh, everything we're gonna say will become dated by the time it comes out.
Yeah, who cares?
Per usual with us.
Who cares?
We're not one of those daily upload people. Like we can't keep up with this shit.
This isn't our careers.
We don't make any money off this. You kidding me? Still living in my parents' basement. Uh I guess not literally. I don't like actually live
Mhm.
here, but I'm recording down here. Um, but yeah, so that's what's coming up. I said, I definitely said this during the Christmas video that no one watched, and I'm pretty sure I said it during the Undertale stream. The game show is like filmed. I just have to put it together, and hopefully I'll want to, because it's one of those things that you work on and then you start thinking, no, this sucks, it's the worst thing ever, it's terrible, you don't even want to put it up, but then you
Mhm.
finish it and it's like, no, it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what's going to happen, but I'm telling you, John, expect to hear from me in the next like 2 weeks or so being like, the game show's the worst thing I've ever made, it sucked.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be your like support beam in that.
You and Dan will definitely be my support beam in that, because I know Jake fucking hates it already.
Yeah. Well, of course he does. He's a sore loser.
So basically, the point of this first podcast episode of the year is to just sort of wrap up 2020. Like, just put a
Mm.
nice big kibosh on everything that was 2020. And I think the absolute best way to start that is by wrapping up talking about the part 5 dub, because that wrapped up in what, November?
Yeah. Something
October?
like that.
Like, that was a while ago, but I only finally watched the last like 2 episodes yesterday.
Mm.
Whatever. Um, but yeah, it's the part 5 dub is completely done, and I I think it's one of the better dubs of the franchise so far. Um, I think I've made my thoughts clear about the part 2 dub.
Yeah. You hate it. You hate Joseph with every fiber of your being.
I mean, I hate Joseph, but I think I hate Caesar's voice more. It's just, it's a me,
Yeah.
Caesar. Like, it's just like,
Yeah. They actually like did well with not doing the
yeah.
Italian accents too much.
I'm I was definitely pensive after having watched the part 2 dub, thinking, "Oh God, there's an entire part that's completely set in Italy and it's the same people working on it. What are
Mm.
they gonna do?" But luckily, they didn't make everyone go for an over the top Italian accent, though they did make everyone say an unnecessary amount of random Italian words.
Look, it's Assassin's Creed rules, all right.
Yeah.
Just sometimes you gotta remind them it's flavor text. That's it.
It is it is amusing every time they do it, and it's kind of
Mm.
like, even if it kind of like takes you out of the experience, like they just threw in an Italian word there just because it made sense. But overall, like, it's pretty good, and I definitely said this sometime last year. I actually prefer Diavolo's English voice, and having watched the conclusion of the series, I still stand by that. I I actually like it more.
I I've heard. I haven't watched the entirety of the sub, but I have heard Diavolo's Japanese voice, and yeah, I can more or less agree with that. I will say, as just a sole dub viewer, I thought that the voices for most of like the Passion crew were like, it kind of shocked me to remember these guys are supposed to be like teenagers, mid-teenagers. Everyone other than Narancia and maybe Fugo are supposed to be sounded like really deep. Narancia was high pitched enough but that was more a body type thing than I think an age
Mhm.
thing. But I will say, I ended up absolutely loving their voices. I thought that I don't know most of the voices. The voice for Bucciarati, like Ari, is probably my new favorite stand cry now that I heard him say.
It is. It's
Yeah, especially how he ends it with Arrivederci is just fantastic.
I will say I still prefer Bruno's Japanese voice.
Mm.
But after he did the Ari 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 in the dub, that's when it won me over as being a good dub voice for Bucciolati. Uh,
I will say the 7 page Muda, um,
yeah.
it was voiced remarkably well. I'll give it that. I think it was ruined in the sound mixing because there were times where the music seemed to drown out most of the especially during especially during like the shout.
Yes.
It was muffled, and I feel that kind of was upsetting.
Yeah, I definitely said this when we got to that point last year. I definitely say that the re is kind of like the most important part of the 7 page movie, which is weird,
Mhm.
but it just is. It's just like this huge scream that comes out of nowhere, and to have it get like drowned out the way it did, it just loses its
Especially, it was done so well. It was done
yeah,
really
Star
well with
so
execution.
good.
So yeah, those are some criticisms, I guess, or comments, criticisms, whatever you want to say, of the dub. Um, as a first time, like as this being my like first time part five at all, I gotta say, uh, I I really appreciate how in depth the members of Passion had as characters. Like I think of more so in any other part that I've seen so far, they were all given a spotlight more so than like the rest of the Joestar groups who had.
Yeah.
Um, and I appreciate that. I like it when side characters or like members of a group get spotlighted. Um, I've gone on and on about how I can't stand DBZ basically making it the Goku show. Like ever since like the Cell saga ended, barely anyone other than Goku has gotten a good moment, which is really depressing. So it's really good to see that Part Five had a nice dedication basically to every member. Even if some of them I felt dragged a bit or didn't have enough to warrant like 1 or 2 episodes of a single fight for them where they also got their backstory. It was better done than Kakyoin's, I'll say.
Yeah, where
Getting
his
like
backstory gets
Kakyoin
shoved
getting
in.
his backstory and like a look into his psyche 5 minutes before he died.
It's tragic.
There's got to be a bit of a middle ground, but I do
Mm.
appreciate that we have a better sense of these characters, and they're a bit less one note than some of the other characters ended up being, even after their like psyche shift from
Yeah.
being villains to the group.
Yeah. I think I think you'll like Stone Ocean in that regard.
If Stone Ocean repeats that method, I'm gonna love it then.
And most of the characters' backstories, uh, they get evened out a little bit more. Like most of them don't like just straight up interrupt the fight. I know. Uh, I fuck. What the fuck? I forgot his name already.
Put his name
Uh,
on the just put his name on the
yeah, I will.
John. Put his name.
It's Diver Down Stand User. His backstory just like comes out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, okay, weird. Thanks for just
Yeah.
telling us. But everyone else's, most of them are told like actually kind of naturally. Like you learn Emporio's backstory pretty naturally throughout the dialogue. Also Ermi's, um, and then admittedly, Weather Report, his backstory is just like this huge exposition dump, which I think was like 2 chapters long. It's just enormous. But it's also I'm only saying this because I know you don't mind this because of the way you view entertainment.
Spoilers.
He's
Spoilers.
spoilers in case you haven't read part 6 and you're really excited for that anime that's totally coming out soon. Um, a Weather Report and Poochie are brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn that through a very long backstory. There's
Does it count as is it partially Poochie's backstory as well then?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then
It, you
I'll
learn how
probably
they're
be a bit more
connected, and
I'll probably be a bit more forgiving then if it's also the antagonist's backstory too.
it
So
is an amazing backstory. It's really just, and it really shows the duality between the two of them. Um, and it's so good. Also, the KKK is involved, so that's interesting.
amazing. And on if my as long as it's not like the manga or JoJo being JoJo where colors are all over the place, I'm pretty sure Poochie's black, right?
Poochie is black.
Okay,
Weather Report is also supposed to
fantastic.
be kind of black, but like in a mixed way.
KKK with a good old black man.
Oh, you know what's even better? Poochie hires the KKK
Wow.
to
You
lynch
know,
his brother.
I am I'm really excited, honestly, to see how Poochie plays out because Poochie's sort of in this middling ground at the moment where I don't know enough of him as a main antagonist to put him in like my rating list, but just the small things I do know, he's at least in like the
He's higher
uh,
than Diablo.
he's higher than Diavolo, he's higher than Cars,
Okay.
like just off the bat higher than those two. And so I kind of want to see how he plays out a bit more to see if I can put him more definitively in my list.
I think as someone who's read the manga, though it's been a while since I've read it, and I might reread it before the anime actually comes out. Um, he is he's an interesting character, if only because of his relationship to Weather Report and his relationship to Dio.
Mm.
Like those two relationships that he has definitely are kind of like the cornerstones of his character, and everything else is just built around that. Um, and then he has some of just the most bizarre quirks, like his thing for
I,
prime numbers. Like
oh, I'm so excited then.
I can't even understand that. He can also tie two cherry stems with his tongue.
Oh, I'm so
I mean,
excited. I love
since he's a
quirky villains.
priest,
I love quirky villains.
also gun.
But yeah, also a gun. But back to part five.
Right,
I
right.
will say I'm slightly confused why the like the show in general, like the part five in general, kept going after Diavolo's fate. Like there was a whole other episode after Diavolo was defeated, just going up against a different guy, and
Okay, so I can explain that. So that is the epilogue called Sleeping Slaves, which is technically a prologue because it happens right before
no, and I
the
know
events.
like Bucciarati gets the job, or like he's requested the job, and so they continue on to do it in Bucciarati's honor, but I feel like that should have been something that happened before they fought Diavolo.
Well,
I
because the idea was, I think the idea behind Sleeping Slaves and Rolling Stones is you find out that they were all locked into their fate. Like this was all supposed to happen, and ultimately for the greater good, I guess you could say, of Diablo getting defeated. But all the characters that were supposed to die, because when Mista destroys Rolling Stone at the very end, and the smoke clears, and you see that also is Narancha and
not,
Abakia's face in
not
there,
that.
and it's supposed to be like, yeah, Mista kind of set them on this course of fate, because uh, one of the running motifs, one of the running themes in part five is this idea of fate and mastering one's fate. Uh, but then the ending with Rolling Stones shows that no one is above fate. Everything happens because it's meant to happen.
Mm. I guess that kind of makes sense given fate also is a major theme in part six. So,
Yes.
but I no, I'm not saying I like it's completely out of place or like it shouldn't have been done or anything like that. I'm just saying personally, it felt a little. It now that you've explained, it's just supposed to be an epilogue. I get that, but I feel like maybe it would have been more interesting if if it was set like a month later, Giorno is already leader of Passion and he's like trying to fight this fate or like go against this fate after even getting all that power. Like I feel it would be make a bit more sense to say, or be a bit more poignant to say you can't escape fate even when you're the most powerful person,
Mm.
like an Augustus kind of thing, like a no king can tell a river not to come in kind of thing. But at the same time, I still thought that part five's ending with Giorno being kissed in, however it's done.
Well,
Uh,
that is tradition. You got to
yeah, I
kiss the
know.
ring.
Yeah, well, again, kissed in as the new primo mafioso. That was still really good. It was a satisfying conclusion. JoJo parts are really good at giving satisfying conclusions, at least so far. And so I wish I cared more about Giorno
If only, right?
to feel good about it. So, but here's the weird part. I felt worse for Polnareff still being trapped in like Mr. President's Coco Jumbo over there than I did about Giorno finally reaching his more or less his life goal at this time.
Yeah.
I felt better about Mista becoming like a capo for Passion than I did about Giorno becoming a leader of Passion.
Yeah. I I agree with you on all of that because I also think Giorno is pretty lackluster. But I think one of the possibly the biggest waste of potential in all of JoJo's is that we never really get to see what he does outside of shut down the narcotics division. That's the only thing we know he does, and really he makes Fugo do it. So like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. I respect the theme or like the idea of parts being that you can follow, like restart a whole new story, whole new stakes, whole new characters,
yeah,
whatever. So we don't necessarily have to see, you know, previous JoJo's or previous characters coming back into a new part kind of thing. But at the same time, yeah, it feels like part 5 is the most completely
oh yeah,
taken away,
oh yeah,
even compared to part 7 and part 8, which happened in completely different realities.
yeah, right.
Somehow part 5 seems the most displaced from all the rest of um the JoJo parts. It's weird.
I mean, the only thing that really connects it is that Giorno is Dio's son, and
And even
even
then
that gets
he doesn't meet
ignored. Really,
anyone or discusses with anyone who knew Dio. Like he
there's
only
so
has
many
the
there are so many fan comics about Giorno meeting Jotaro and just talking about his dad that is just like, Araki, why didn't you just make this? Why didn't you just do this?
forget that.
Please.
Why didn't Polnareff talk to him about it? Polnareff
Huh?
fought Dio. Polnareff nearly got killed by Dio. Why?
I mean, it's just I mean, at a certain point I have to imagine that it's like time and place, like there's a threat looming and now he's a turtle.
I mean,
But like
I
they have
guess.
the time in the world afterwards, right? So
Yeah,
like
I guess. I
nothing. Not
remember this one. I remember this one comedic um, JoJo comic dub where it was like Jolene goes to meet Giorno to like request him like the Godfather scene. It's like,
yeah.
ah yes, my uncle, my great uncle, please do me this favor. And it's like that would have been hilarious, but it's just not
There's
there. Like
there's
Jotaro literally just has Koichi go to Italy to confirm Giorno exists. Then, after Koichi says, "Oh yeah, this guy's here," and he's not like megalomaniacal, but he does seem to be trying to rule a criminal empire, Jotaro is just like, fascinating.
Okay, bye.
Yeah,
Enjoy your vacation.
yeah. Koichi goes to see some sights,
He
and then
never he never looks into the other three.
yeah, he doesn't.
What the fuck? I mean,
There's
I guess
like
they kind of
there's a
suck, but
brood of
still.
Dio children running around, and literally Koichi never brings it up. Jotaro never even brings it up. He doesn't like those three guys are in the jail his daughter goes to, and he never goes to like look into that.
Actually, I don't. I'm
Granted, he's in a
trying to,
coma, I'm assuming
I'm
during.
trying to remember if those three were actually in the jail. I think Poochie just found them and like brought them into the circle.
Yeah.
But someone who was in that jail was a secret member of Dio's entourage who is a blind sniper. That guy was in the same jail, and that
I
would be
don't
confusing,
I don't understand.
except for
Yeah,
the fact
so
that Stan is Manhattan Transfer.
part 5 is probably the most like confusing for me. There's so much I love about it, and there's so much I just can't stand about it. It's not my least favorite part. Realistically, it probably has my least favorite JoJo of
Yeah,
all of them at this point. I love the gang. I honestly I think I love Passion as a gang more than any other Joestar group. Like even compared to the Stardust Crusaders. And but the main guy, like the guy we're supposed to be following, I can't get into it. I just can't.
I'm with you 100% on that. Like I don't.
I'll probably go back and watch those backstory episodes over and over again, especially Mista's like that. Mista getting shot point blank a dozen times and all of them missing was fantastic. That was amazing.
What a great bit, right?
Yeah,
Got his
but
head blown off, but not really.
I was great. But yeah. So that's kind of uh my summation of part five.
You know, I was I was honestly thinking about this the other day because I've been preparing for this conversation. Um, and I was really thinking about part five as a story, and just really thinking, is this really Giorno's story?
It isn't.
Like, it's just
I can
not.
tell you for a fact it is not a story. It is. Giorno is the main character of part five, the same way Aragon is the main character of Lord of the Rings. Like there are stupid people who think Aragon's the main character just because he's the leader of the group, or just because he's the one you follow for the biggest percentage. But no, he's not the leader.
Mhm.
It's Frodo's story.
Yeah,
Realistically, part five feels more like Bruno's story than it does Giorno's.
I will argue that it really should be Trish's story, because like, and I'll argue this because think about it. Every point of conflict that the team Bruciolotti come into, every point that their lives are in danger, it's rooted back to Trish. So
I
like
would
after
I would counter that Trish is more of a MacGuffin, if that makes sense.
I
Structurally speaking.
I would agree, but she's also a character in and of herself, and she actually is supposed to be doing something. It's just she's poorly
She's
written.
supposed to be doing something and poorly written.
Yeah,
I'm saying she might have been like supposed to be her own agency with her own character, but
should have
she's
been.
basically a sentient MacGuffin as far as I'm personally concerned, just because keeping her safe is more or less just what the group needs to do. It's the inciting factor that makes them in conflict with Diavolo. Diavolo's plan is fucking moronic, but I mean,
Just
look,
pull out, Diablo. Why don't you just pull out, man?
I know. Look,
No?
my high mind spoke the truth that my sober mind is more concise in speaking. I can't. Diablo is by far my least favorite JoJo antagonist at this point in time. So
I I want to love Diavolo. I really do, but there's so much holding him back. Like I think King Crimson as a concept and as a design, it's pretty high up there as one of my favorites of the villain stands.
King Crimson's design is fantastic.
Oh my god, just
It
the
actually
color alone is just like, oh, it pops
no,
out.
the color, like the facial
Double face.
interactions, it's really good. And
I mean, the stand speaks for him more often.
yeah,
So
I know
like,
that. Okay, that one thing, the most fascinating thing I saw in the final confrontation between Giorno and Diavolo was Gold Experience Requiem has become a sentient stand,
oh yeah.
completely separate from Giorno. That was the most fascinating thing I've ever
Hmm.
seen, like in part five, and it sucks that we don't get a confirmation about that, or like we don't get that looked into at all. This whole time, this
Right.
is like the first protagonist character who has a separately sentient stand. Why can't we get more of that? I know technically Tusk might be semi-sentient or like semi-separate, at least in one of its acts or something like that. I
I
get
mean,
conflicting and so on.
Act one, it kind of is. It's kind of
But
just like this little pink thing that floats around.
yeah, but just the idea of Gur being able to do things Giorno can't is really cool, and just kind of doesn't
Wasted.
wasted, wasted potential, more wasted potential.
Oh my god, yeah, GER really. I mean, like I get why it's not used more because it's like
It's
just the
overpowered.
concept of it is like just fucking ridiculous. I forgot it just straight up shoots a laser beam too.
Hmm.
I forgot about that. How is that the thing that I forget about GER? I don't know. But it does that like oh, and I love its aura. Like I love Gold Experience has this very golden aura, and then it turns Requiem, and it's just this white aura, this like
Yeah,
really calm thing. It's like what they were trying to do with Ultra Instinct in Super, but failed miserably at.
yeah. Talk about that. Uh
Well, like the thing about Diablo is, at his core, he's honestly, I see him as being very similar to Kira, but like in a reverse direct. Like, it's strange. It's strange to say. Both of them want to be
I know what you mean.
left
They both want to be
alone,
left alone, like
but
not have to
like,
deal with people.
well, like Kira wants to be left alone because for the sole purpose of being left alone and peace and quiet, which is what he likes. But Diavolo wishes to be left alone because that's power to him. Being completely isolated from everyone else, no one can touch him, and that is supreme power in his eye. That he is the king above all else, and no one can come close to him. And
Mm.
hence another a reoccurring thing with his character is this constant reference to king and being a royalty. Even his stand is called King Crimson, or Emperor Crimson if you're a dub lover, which is fine because Emperor Crimson is not a bad name for
Mm.
once. Uh,
Pretty good localized name, honestly. Yeah.
yeah, they did a good job, even if it's a weird amount of syllables.
Mm.
Um, but like it like should be really interesting, but it kind of fucks up when his entire goal is to have to kill a teenage girl because she can sense where he is, and it's just like, why is that so hard at a certain point?
Why would he have let her leave if she could do that? Why he
Why
doesn't have to kill her?
he had her he had her in the hands of one of his capos her entire life, and nothing does nothing until her mom dies.
I mean, yeah, and
The hands of the people who are gonna protect her.
at the very least, Kira, like the inciting incidents that got the gang after Kira, was more or less a mistake, more or less
Right.
just something he didn't account for. Like Diavolo flat out tells the gang to go do the thing that's eventually going to get him beat.
Like, what
So
the hell?
if he had literally just kept his mouth shut and or got people he has 100 different reasons to trust more than Passion, like the Passion gang.
Well, no, the whole organization is
I
passive.
know, I know.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't want to keep calling them the JoJo group because,
Oh,
quite honestly,
Team
I feel like
Bucciati.
they're not okay. Bucciolati group. The whole reason the Bucciolati group, there was no reason to have Bucciolati's group even do this. Like, get
Exactly,
more
right?
trusted people to do it. Do it yourself. Just if you're gonna kill her anyways, just go find her and cap her.
Guys, if you're gonna kill someone, do it correctly.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Don't do this.
realistically, kill Trish the same way. There was the way to kill Trish. He just said, just walk up to her as Doppio and stab her. He does that to a different character.
That's that Bacchio. Flawless victory, mind you.
Yeah,
Gets off scot-free. Like, I don't know what.
exactly. Just do that with Trish.
He had
Yeah.
a
So
million opportunities. A million opportunities.
this is
And
why Diablo is beneath Cars, as far as I'm concerned. Cars was a megalomaniacal as well, but at the very least, he was consistent. At the very least, he wasn't like he
at
was
least it
selfish
was
and narcissistic.
overconfidence that defeated him.
Yeah, it was his overconfidence. It was like a noted character flaw that made sense with the rest of his character. Not this, wherein the whole reason Diavolo is doing these things is contradicted by who he is as a person in
Yeah,
all other stints of his life. It's
exactly.
so weird.
It's just, it's annoying. Because again, he's so cool. I want to love him. I
Yeah,
mean, okay. I will say though that I preferred him when he was in the shadows.
yeah. You prefer
Like
him as a
his
secret
whole
boy.
design.
Then he
I don't
shows
know.
up with pink hair and fishnet shirts, and
Look, the pink hair was fine. It's just the ridiculously long pink hair and the polka dots
yeah.
and the fishnet shirt. It's just like that's what he looked like the whole time.
Like he wants to be left alone and he wants people not to notice him and he looks like that.
Like the most noticeable person.
Bacchio's clothing is less conspicuous.
Fucking Doppio blends into a crowd better than him, and Doppio has bright purple hair.
And a big bright turtleneck.
He's, Doppio blends in as well as any other JoJo's characters, and yet Diavolo stands out more than him. It's just
Yeah.
like, why? Why are you just dressed like this?
I have no
I guess he was
idea.
wearing that under the turtleneck the whole time too. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
fascinating. Great stuff there.
strange. Ugh, fucking hell. And Trish
Well,
should have been a character.
yeah, she should have been.
Because it's like, why the fuck wasn't she more of a character? She's literally the most important piece in the entire group. It's like everything revolves around her, and yet she does jack shit.
Again, I'm pretty sure it's because she was the MacGuffin. She wasn't supposed to be really a character. Her being a character was kind of in the back of Araki's mind. It was
probably
more what she was in relation to Diavolo.
Yeah, probably. But that's
So
bad writing. So
yeah, it's bad. It's unfortunately it's bad writing, and unfortunately he tried to overcompensate in the next part by having the main character be a female, and the consensus apparently seems to be that Jolene's one of the weaker JoJos, or one of the.
I will always disagree with people on that because, like, I mean, Giorno has baseline no personality, and then
Yeah, I'm telling you
good
flat
boy.
out, whether or not Jolene is poorly written, she's already above Giorno. Like, Johnny having a mosquito bite fetish makes him more fascinating to me than Giorno. Gappy having like 4 testicles and amnesia makes him more fascinating to me from the get-go than Giorno does. So unless Jolene is literally just a cardboard box that the rest of her group carries around from place to place, she has got a leg up on Giorno as far as I'm concerned.
Nah, she is not a cardboard box. She has attitude. She has some spunk. She is the leader. Like, she is the first JoJo to be straight up the leader. Everyone follows Jolene. They
That'll be that.
they literally all follow her to their deaths. Like, that's just how it goes.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice to see, I think.
Oh my god, the ending of part 6 is just so. And then everyone died.
Woo!
The end, except it wasn't the end because Emporio managed to fix everything, kind of.
You know, if you think about it, that's kind of how this year's gone. Everyone just followed everything to the end, and then everyone died, but then not really.
Yeah, that's kind of just how it went. Yeah. Is there anything else to say about part 5? Just
Not
in
particularly.
general. I really hope that they announce that we're gonna get a Purple Phase feedback animated. That would be fun.
That would be cool to see. Fugo was very underutilized.
Oh, he was the least utilized, but
I know why. I know he was thrown out because he was overpowered. But still.
But he gets a whole book.
I mean, I'll be quite honest. I might be a bit more excited to see that than the Rohan OV.
Oh god, yeah.
That has completely gone under my radar. I have cared little to nothing about that.
When are we gonna get animated the mini comic where Rohan goes to Gucci? When are we getting that animated? Call me when that happens. There's a stand that is literally a Gucci bag.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
I'm pretty sure its ability is just that it's a bag.
Bag of holding. Fantastic.
Yes. Oh my god. I will say we have been ragging on part 5, but it's not like I would say about all of JoJo's. None of it's bad. There are parts of it that are badly written, and there are parts of it that are just like, why?
Mm-hmm.
But that goes for the entire franchise, in my opinion. And I think overall the story still holds up.
Yeah, no, I'll give it that. Like, I'm not. This is certainly not the worst. Like, this is not forgettable. Like, that's probably the worst thing a piece of entertainment can be, is forgettable. And part 5 is bar none not forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, for me personally, it's just there's too much I wanted to really love about it that.
Yeah.
Again, my stance is always wasted potential is it hurts more than no potential. And so this part 5 had so much good potential going for it, and then it just flatlined.
Yeah, it really did. I was gonna say something clever, and then I forgot what I was gonna say. Shit. Oh well. So yeah, that wraps up part 5. That was fun.
Yeah.
Diavolo dies forever, and everyone moves on that is still alive. And a 15-year-old gets to run the mafia.
Yeah,
That,
he'll
that's how it
grow
works.
into not being a 15-year-old later.
No, he doesn't.
So
He never shows up again. Uh, they should have had him. I'm just saying, if with the way that Stone Ocean ends, they should have had like everyone show up at some point. That's just how Iraqi should have done it. Like if it was gonna be the end of the universe, like everyone should have had at least a little bit of a cameo. But no, no one
nah,
shows up.
nah.
It's just JoJo. That's all you need, right? Yeah. So anyway, that's that is Vento Arreo wrapped up. Um, and I gotta say, and I don't think this will be controversial to say. 2020 was a shitty year.
It was
Pretty shitty overall.
overall.
Um, but you know what? God damn it. I don't want to start 2021 on a negative note. I want to talk some positives about this last year because some good things happened. Some good things were created. Some good things got released. You know,
Yeah.
there were positives.
I got
No,
a
no, it
car
was
during
awful.
2020. I finally got enough money to buy a car, so that was good.
Hey, you got a car. I I made a video about how sexy the presidents are.
Yeah, and I made a response to that.
I was straight not gonna lie, straight up, I was not expecting that video to get as many views as it did, to be as popular as it was. I
Over
am so happy.
500 views. Over
Over
500.
500, which is unusual for us because we usually stagger around the 100 mark,
Mm,
maybe 100 to 200 mark. But to get a video that got almost 500 views in 1 week was like, holy shit, people actually like this.
yeah.
Like, that was cool. That was a great moment as just for me as a creator. Um, and I won't lie, it gave me a bit of a power rush, and I am totally gonna go through with making the same kind of video for vice presidents.
Vice presidents. Fun fact, you'll see some repeats on that vice president's list, won't
I mean,
you?
I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna cut down on the repeats. I want to focus on the people that don't get any attention. You know, like Spiro Agnew. He was a vice president.
Yeah, so is Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah, but I already ranked him. So like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you get hear my opinions on Dick Cheney. Like everyone wants to hear that, right?
No. No.
At least you're honest with me, John.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm always honest.
but yeah, I will actually totally be working on that soon. I actually have to do a little bit of research for that because I don't think I know every vice president. Actually, no, I know I don't know every single vice president. I know for a fact I don't remember all of them.
Yeah.
The presidents got drilled in my head during middle
Look, the
school.
vice president was flat out a position created to keep political adversaries to the president in a place where they can feel like they have power and shut them up. For
That
like the
was the
first
intent, yeah.
for the first like century of our country's history, the vice president literally just sat at Congress and told them when to start and when to stop. That was it.
Hey, that's a very important job. You got to ring the bell.
Yeah, you gotta ring the little bell, then sit there, fall asleep, like most vice presidents were noted to do, because they couldn't actually debate in the Congress because they
Nah,
weren't congressmen.
they were just the tiebreaker.
Then you gotta ring the little bell to stop Congress and go home.
Man, just think, Aaron Burr sitting there upon all these congressmen, just waiting for them to stop talking.
Yeah.
I'm sure he loved it, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why they changed the rule from it being the runner up to you
Yeah.
having to select a person because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that role would make some people go insane.
Oh yeah, and it did.
Yeah,
It most
Aaron Burr
likely
killed a
already
man.
did. It already did. It was adding insult to injury. And
Uh,
let me
yeah.
tell you, I don't think we could have survived with something like that in our day and age. Could you imagine John McCain as Barack Obama's vice president? Could you
That
imagine
oh,
Hillary Clinton
oh,
as the vice
Christ.
president?
That would have ended so badly.
Exactly.
Although if Hillary was Trump's VP, I know quite a few people who would be happy with that. They would think things would go a little differently, but I probably wouldn't.
Probably not.
But that's funny. Um,
But positives about 2020. Positives
Positives.
about Tiger King.
Tiger King, that was a big thing.
That
I finally did get around to watching it, and it's
uh,
really fucking good.
I know like it's such a good documentary. You got everything I was talking about. Like
Yeah,
it's really
I
not.
100% see what you're getting at. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, it's that like we both know that documentaries like start off like you have to have a message or whatever with your
Yeah.
documentary. You need to have one set out. I've never seen a documentary so flawlessly make you understand the message without flat out blopping it, like blopping a word
Oh yeah.
bubble right in front of you. Like I knew exactly their points. None of these people are good people. None of this should be happening. I got that way before they were like, there are over 4 times as many big cats in captivity than out in the wild. And I'm just like,
That's a
yeah,
fucked
that's a
up
crime.
statistic.
That's a crime.
That is. It's horrible. That's disgusting.
Carol Baskin got away with literal homicide. She should not be taking care
But
of like 100 big
that
cats.
that case got reopened because of the documentary.
Yeah, it did.
Like like say whatever you will about the documentary, whether you liked it, whether you didn't like it, whether you thought it was as amazing as we do. That documentary has changed things.
Yeah,
Like it has impacted our world.
it has. It in ways like culturally speaking and now legally speaking. It's changed how things. That is a gold standard. That's what every documentary wants to
That's
do.
like that's like the goal, right?
And it did it like for crying out loud, the guy who made Super Size Me made a sequel and it was less important than Tiger King. Tiger King was more important than both of his like stupid fast food like fake documentaries. And it's incredible. It's great. I hope those guys make more. They know what they're doing.
They are impressive documentary filmmakers. I was just downright impressed by everything they put on screen. Like
Mm-hmm.
God fucking damn, they knew what to put in, what to keep out. Like it was just
Not only
that's
that,
really perfect.
they got some like fantastic like action shots. Basically, I know
Yes.
this might sound a bit what would you say, like insensitive of me, but
Well,
like
admittedly.
I mean, admittedly, but at the same time, it gets the point across. Like they were interviewing an ex Joe Exotic employee who, you know, they had an injury, and they actually caught the injury happening. Like they were interviewing the individual first, and then you're like, huh, that's very fascinating. And then you realize, I just saw them get that injury. I just saw like that is great storytelling, like great nonverbal storytelling.
That's it's just amazing right now. Uh what hold on, I actually got what the fuck was this called? There was I completely forgot the name of this documentary, but it was another Netflix docuseries, but I binged it in literally a day because I was so invested in it. Um, I completely forget the name. It'll be on the screen now when I edit this like later this week. But it's about the how the FBI took down the 5 families in New York
Mm-hmm.
during the 70s and 80s.
Oh yeah.
I could not take my eyes off of that thing. Like it came out and I was just like, oh, that'll be interesting. Literally 5 hours later, like I left my room. Like, holy shit, that was incredible. They had I am obsessed with documentaries where you have recordings of people, like secret recordings of people.
Oh yeah.
Like this is why I'm obsessed with the Nixon tapes because it's just like that quality where you just have to like listen in and you're like thinking, oh, I am listening to something I really shouldn't be.
It's
It's
voyeurism.
so
It's a
cool.
good voyeurism thing that
Yeah.
it gives off the same vibe that a lot of Hitchcock movies do. Like so honestly, Hitchcockian methods might be good for documentaries now that you think about
Right? Yeah. It gave me that same vibe that I did when I watched Ken Burns' The Vietnam War for the first time,
it.
which
Mm-hmm.
is a documentary that I like rewatch religiously because my God, that man puts in way too much work into what he does. Just
It pays off. It pays off.
and he puts out like one a year sometimes. Like it
Mm-hmm.
feels like it's every year he comes out with something new, and it's like I love you, Ken Burns. I didn't watch his one on country music, which I heard was very good. but I did not watch that yet.
I mean, if a man can make country music sound interesting,
If the man
good.
can make baseball interesting, that baseball series ran for 11 hours,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. But yeah, that documentary on the FBI's takedown of the five, and they had interviews with real members of the mafia.
Ex-family members.
Yeah, real ex-family members, which are like, I mean, admittedly, like those people are hard to find. It's hard to admit that unless you've already been through jail, and
Yeah,
it's like, yeah.
unless you're Henry Horse and you advertising to everyone, "Hey guys, I was in this familia. I was a good guy. I was a good fella."
Yeah, I have that book. It's so good. Um, yeah, that came out this year. Oh, and literally like the same weekend, fucking Lucifer season 5 dropped, or the first half
Yeah.
of it. And like Lucifer is a show I got into in 2020, and I became obsessed with it so quickly because it's so well written, it's so funny. Uh, Tom Ellis is the most beautiful man I've ever built. Like just, oh, I cannot believe he's in his 40s. I don't even believe that.
Tom Ellis does not crack.
He's he doesn't. Holy fucking shit. He's a gorgeous man, and his voice is just they're doing a musical episode in the second half,
Oh no.
and that's coming out supposedly soon. It's a jukebox musical, but I'm already I'm already there. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, see everyone, there's plenty of good entertainment out there. You don't got to get so worried about like cuties and such.
Yeah, not everything is cuties. Not everything. Just leave the French out of this, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was joking with my brother about cuties, and he was like, where do they? He was like, where do they make this shit? And I was like, France. And he was like,
Yeah,
what? Like, yeah, in France it's considered art. Like, it's just it's
yeah.
just what it is.
You can get away with that kind of stuff over there.
Whoops.
Remember when France made a drama-mentary about the bombing of Hiroshima, and it was basically porn?
Oh my god, yeah, you're right.
You remember?
Oh, I do remember.
You
Oh,
remember the sensual touching in between the literal elephant skin melting off of people from radiation poisoning?
I remember hearing about it. What was it called? What was its name?
Letters to Hiroshima, I think it was. It
No,
was
no, that's a Clint Eastwood movie.
okay. In that case, no way.
No, Letters to Iwo Jima.
Iwo Jima. Okay,
That's
yeah. No, so letters to Hiroshima.
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that's what it was because, yeah, no, like the title sequence, it's just going over this Japanese landscape of destruction, and you think it's snow, but no, it's ashes raining down, and it's between a Japanese man and a French woman rubbing up against each other, saying, "I tell you, I understand the pain," and it's like, no, you don't. It's like, France. The Japanese love your country. They go there, then they get clinical depression when they get there and see how horrid the place is, to the point that they need counseling when they come back home. And it is an actual social concept in their culture called French syndrome.
Thank God.
Anyways,
Well, weird.
back to good things.
Yeah, good things. Um, so we were obviously stuck inside for a good portion of this year.
Yes.
Although the two of us are considered essential workers.
We're essential workers,
We
so
worked a lot.
technically we're inside unless we're going outside to go
Yeah.
get yelled at by people who don't like wearing masks.
Yeah, well, this is America, so
This is America. Don't let them chip in, though.
no.
Anyways,
But like that, being inside for a good period of time, that gave a great opening for Animal Crossing, which just fucking took off this year, like even bigger than I think Nintendo was expecting it to.
I mean, yeah, it dropped at literally the perfect time. Something that
literally the week we went into quarantine.
the week went to quarantine, and like a game that is as inoffensive as you could possibly get. Literally nothing that could make you depressed about the thing. just there to make people happy. It's really good.
It is a happiness generator. Like
This
just
is
just
why Nintendo is in a league of itself in the video game
it truly
world.
is. Like just walking around the island is just refreshing. It just
Mm.
feels nice. Like I am this was my first time playing an Animal Crossing game, and I have just fallen in love. Like I just fucking love this island. And with all these cute little animals that are my friends now, they all care about me.
Hmm.
And you can control whether they stay or leave, and it's like you have power. But it's also nice power, and you can control things, and it's like I keep my island as very simple as possible. Like I have basically no infrastructure other than houses and a couple of shops. Like I like that it's just nature, but I've seen what people do with their islands with the island molder and all these like crazy roads and bridges that they put up, and it's like that's also really cool.
Mm.
Um, I've sunk probably more time into Animal Crossing than like anything else this year. Um, which I suppose was kind of the point of the game, so good job.
Yeah,
You know,
people joke that it's a chores simulator, but honestly, this is probably the year where such a game is needed the most.
yeah.
So they don't mind. Like most people, their day jobs have been canceled. So maybe giving them a chore simulator so they can feel productive is a good thing.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but my chores don't involve digging up fossils, and that's cool as
Yeah,
fuck.
neither do I.
I've actually completed the entire fossil museum.
Hmm.
That is, I had every single fossil in the game, and it feels so good. It took a long time to do that, and a lot of
Comple-
RNG.
completionist.
I still haven't completed the insect or or fish museum, and I'm nowhere near complete with the art museum because
Mm.
red shows up randomly, and you can only buy one painting from it at a time. So that's annoying. But other
Well,
than that,
just it's something to look forward to.
but I'll tell you the other game that I've sunk probably the most time into. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 came out in 2020, and
Nice.
that game, one, it's just so satisfying because it's a Dynasty Warriors clone. So
Hmm.
you spawn in, and there's a shitload of little enemies, and you just punch them, and they just go flying everywhere, and you pull up these massive ridiculous combos, and it's
Okay,
just
that
fun to
sounds
hit.
fun. That does sound a good beat 'em up. I unfortunately haven't been playing very many video games because they cost a lot of money, and I'm
They
trying to
do.
save money for keeping the house rent paid for and gas money and other such things. So, um, uh, I've started playing the tabletop for Cyberpunk, not the actual video game, which I heard was unfortunately a very foul release.
I mean, it did get released completely unfinished, but I hear the people that pushed through it did enjoy it. So consensus is that it is a good game, but it just needed more
It's a good
time.
game, but it needs patchwork done,
Mm.
which I can understand. And I've heard the same thing from other people. And the tabletop game, which everyone should know, came before the video game.
Yes.
Um, it's actually really good. It's actually really fun. It's very complicated to get into, but if you have someone helping you, like start off, it's actually really fun. So that's a nice little tidbit, I guess.
I am the kind of person who always says he's gonna do tabletop games and then never finds the time,
Mm,
even though I could, but I just whenever I think about it, there's never time, and it's just
yeah.
annoying. But I have a game. It's a very old game called Hero Quest that I've been meaning to do a full playthrough with people because I've never gotten anyone farther than the second mission. Uh,
Oof.
which is not to say that we weren't having a good time. It's just that it takes a very long time to
It
get through a
does.
mission.
There's a lot of prep work. Like just from each session, you have to you need a week worth of prep work. And
And
so if you're
this is a very slimmed down tabletop RPG. Like it's
oh yeah,
very simplistic. Like you don't really need to do a lot of thinking and planning. Most of it's done for you, and it's just like which direction do you go? What do you roll? Like
hmm
it's very simplistic and it's a lot of fun. But the downside to that is that it's just a long play game.
yeah,
Uh, so I hope to do that someday, but I need to have people back in the house to do that.
yeah. Which you can't really do at this moment in time.
So Unless I mean, I could play outside when the weather gets nice again, but
No,
that's a
no,
while.
outside is evil. Anyways,
That's true. I have a screened-in Porsche though, and it's like, but I gotta put a proper table in there. What else? Oh my god, fucking Doom Patrol season 2.
oh hey,
What the
yeah.
shit did I almost forget about that? Like the greatest comic book show ever made. Yes, Doom Patrol.
You're,
Okay, so the first season of Doom Patrol was in 2019. Yes, because DC Universe launched in fall of 2018, and it started with Titans, and Titans was complete garbage.
it
Uh,
was. I
fuck
please play the Robin clip, the one everyone
yes.
loved.
Fuck Batman.
God, I hate that fucking
Yeah,
show. I
that's
have not
Dick
finished season 2.
Grayson right there. The man who literally became Batman for a few years when Bruce Wayne was missing. He, yeah, no. That's the funny part. There are plenty of Robins, or there's plenty of like Bat family characters who had a segment of time where they were literally like, Batman and his methods don't get the job done. Like Jason Todd, just say it's the Jason Todd Robin. Don't make it Dick Grayson,
You
who's
know what's
probably the
even
most.
stupider? Jason Todd Robin is in the show.
Yeah, but it's not Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson's got a couple of things about him, like even like the semi grimdark take on Robin from the 2014 Titans. At least got that he considers Batman his father more than anyone else, and it's just like, give that to the guy. Don't make him this edgy little shit. That's Jason Todd.
I hate Titans. Titans got off on the worst start and then didn't get better.
That didn't get better.
Oh, I also love how the first season ended with a literal cliffhanger. Just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh man, fucking Trigon is out. He's gonna kill everyone. Ha! See you in a year, bitches. And then season 2, literally half the episode is the climax of season 1, and then it moves on from there, and it's just like, fuck this show. I don't even care. But then after that, Doom Patrol came out and literally saved the site. Except it didn't because it's dead now. Um,
Yeah.
it didn't last very long. But it's gonna be a full comics library now, which I'm okay with because I've
Man,
picked that.
Doom Patrol really is one of those things that DC and Warner Entertainment, like, it's one of those small little gold nuggets they manage to throw out with all the other sand that
Yeah.
they create on a regular basis.
Arrow. Anyway,
I Warner, what is Warner? I used to love Warner
hey,
Entertainment.
hey, hey, hey.
Uh,
Next episode.
next, okay, I'll
We'll
say
get there.
I'll save
Save.
that for next
Because
episode.
I literally want to do an entire episode about that, but we'll
Okay,
get there.
okay,
But again, positivity. We keep getting off this positivity track.
positive.
But yeah, Doom Patrol was first season was absolutely incredible and just absolutely amazing, and like properly introduced me to the characters. Like I knew of them before the show, and that's why I wanted to start the show because like, oh, that's cool. They didn't get a show ever. Cool, they get one. I'll watch it, and then it made me it. I literally fell in love with the characters so much that I just started reading the comics, and I started from the very beginning through the Silver Age stuff all the way to modern time, and I've read I'd say about half of the Doom Patrol comics ever made so far, and it's just my favorite series now. It's my favorite team, just the best characters in my opinion, and they get nothing nowadays.
Yeah,
Jack shit. They had a series that got canceled last year,
yeah.
unfortunately, but it was really good when it started. Um, but we got season 2 this year, which was just such a fucking just a trip, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
I I am a man who understands storytelling. I'm a man who understands tropes. I'm a man who understands that this shit isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
The Candlemaker scares me. The Candlemaker scared. I was I was literally watching like half of the episodes of season 2. I was either laughing my ass off or like clutching a pillow like this,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't get scared, but the Candlemaker creeps me the fuck out, and it's so good. It's so well done. And then there's the Sex Ghost episode, which is just like the funniest thing ever made. best episode. Um,
Amazing.
just such an incredible show. Like we obviously, I made a big tribute to it in
Uh-huh. In
doing
a
a nutshell,
nutshell.
and I realized no one watched it, but I still consider it my masterpiece from last year.
A
I don't
magnum
care what
opus
anyone
for
says.
the
That's
year.
my favorite video, bar none. My favorite video I have made in 2020. Um, and I still rewatch it every now and again. And I can't believe I got that many people to be in on it. Like
Yeah,
seriously,
that was our very own like end game.
yeah, right. Just so many people were there, and like, and admittedly, like a third of them were my family members, but you know, whatever. Uh, that's how it goes sometimes. But like writing that in a nutshell, like I had to cut things that I really wanted to homage and parody, but like
Hmm.
it's just so long. Like it's 9 episodes. That's almost 9 hours of material. I had to cut down. I cut down into 15 minutes. Like that's a feat in and of itself. And especially since I love that material so much. Like if I did Arrow season 1 in a nutshell, I could probably cut that thing down to 4 minutes, no problem.
Yeah, but you
That would
didn't
be
want to.
easy because it would actually be more trouble to rewatch Arrow season 1 than
Hmm.
it would be to make that video because it would just be me in a hood going, "Urgh, you failed this shitty," and everyone would be like, "What did I do?" Urgh!
Hmm.
That's the whole video. That's my Arrow season 1 in a nutshell. There you go. Um, but no, like this is material that I absolutely loved. Um, actually, speaking of good comic book shows, because I wasn't expecting it this year, we got Stargirl.
I actually haven't seen that. I thought you were setting up Harley Quinn.
Well, Harley Quinn started in 2019, and
I can't look. The concept of
well,
time has lost me this past year.
but admittedly, its seasons were almost back to back. So, like,
Yeah,
I
so
mean, I'll talk about Harley Quinn, but I want to start with Stargirl because I like genuinely didn't expect Stargirl to be as good as it was. Like, because first and foremost, it is a CW show.
yeah.
Like, it's a CW show that got exclusivity to DC Universe first before
Hmm.
it aired on the CW. So, like, I was expecting low quality. I was expecting bad
You were expecting
CGI.
Riverdale. You were expecting Riverdale.
No, I was expecting the Flash, but you know, the Flash
Okay.
with a teenage girl. So my expectations were low. It is well written. It is well shot. It is well choreographed. It has the best fight scenes uh in CW uh DC shows ever. Like it is
Hmm.
just so nicely shot and everything is just flows. Everything's it's well planned. I think that's the bigger thing. It's well planned because you look at so many of these other scenes. Like I'll go back to Arrow season 1 again. Just
Mm.
it feels like that was done on the fly. And I understand that some people think that's cool, but in practice it looks like shit. Like you can't see what's happening because no one was planning anything. But
Yeah.
when it's well planned and you can see all the movements and how they work together and how they back and forth and how they pass enemies off between each other, it's just it's ecstasy. Like it's so good to watch.
It makes your dopamine levels go
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm. And they got Sportsmaster in there.
Oh yes, sports match.
I am a I stand the Sportsmaster. He's the best villain. I don't
Uh,
care what anyone says. He's
you know,
better than Deathstroke. God damn it.
I'll say this: if it's supposed to be like a high school thing, right? Like they're all
It
high
starts
school.
off that way. Yeah.
Okay, Sportsmaster is the perfect villain for a teenage high
Right?
school. It's basically the bad jock stereotype made into a supervillain.
Oh no,
It's
it's even better because he's the he's like he's like the overattended sports dad.
yes,
It's
yes.
so funny.
Okay, now I might actually want to watch the show if that's
It's
the
good.
case.
It's surprisingly well written. It like has to go into
I,
like the bullshit drama occasionally, but it doesn't.
I literally have not heard of this show until now, mostly because I don't watch a lot of CW things, but still.
Which is fair. Although I am actually kind of looking forward to Superman and Lois reboot. Like I'm kind of like kind of really want to watch that. Um, All right, maybe I should spend my time catching up on Batwoman before season 2 because I have
Oh
no idea
yeah,
what that strain it's gonna be.
that shit show. You that
Where
the
they have to ditch their main character.
Yeah, the
Like
one
I
that
want
they
to
have
see
to
what kind
ditch
of a
their main
wreck that
character,
show.
but they're keeping the main antagonist the same for some reason, even though everything they were planning with that main antagonist now makes no sense.
No, the
Like
Once Upon a Time season 7, it's okay.
I I can't I don't understand what that show it
This
didn't run
should be
out the
dead.
gate. The show from the start stumbled out the gate and now it's like it's tripped and they keep trying to make it roll down a hill hoping it'll cross something, some kind of finish line by the end. You want to talk about shows they haven't planned anything. I'm pretty sure they didn't plan anything past the premiere episode and then they just kept going and like they were like
I got
saying
no.
it's okay so long as the duct tape doesn't fall off. Then the engine falls out and they're just like, we can find a new engine, don't worry.
It's fine. No, no, it's not a big deal. No big deal. We can fix this. We can fix this. Fix it in post. I have to
Oh,
watch Trainwreck. I have to get on that.
I,
Um,
I honestly would have found it hilarious if Fix It in Post they literally had a new actress and just put Ruby Rose's face over her for the
oh no.
season. I would have loved that.
They'll do the fucking like death masks that all the new
No,
Star
they
Wars
no,
things are
they
doing.
no. They do the Luke Skywalker and the
Yeah, that's
Mandalorian
what I'm talking
thing.
about.
Like yeah, just like his face is literally floating around the neck, and he's just like, "Hello, it is I, Luke Skywalker."
I am Ruby Rose. I'm the Batwoman.
Yes,
But we can talk about Harley Quinn.
but
Uh,
yeah, Harley Quinn the cartoon show. It's dark humor, like through and through. Personally, I like it. I always have been kind of of the opinion that Harley works post like Batman the animated series. Harley works best as a sort of anti-villain, anti-hero, where her main shtick is kind of getting away from the Joker. I can't stand people who actually try and make their relationship seem legitimate.
yeah, they're
I,
disgusting.
I've always like as weird as it might have seemed to some people, I think Injustice did it well, where Harley is a sort of non-official member of the Bat family.
Yeah,
I like that kind of take on her. So the Harley Quinn show, it was pretty good at least the first season was really good at kind of showing the sympathy, but also like the come on, you have to pull the bandages off at some point. You got to kind of redefine yourself some way. So come on, it does a good balancing act of making Harley both sympathetic and also making her look like someone you're literally like pushing your temples at and saying, "Come on, redefine yourself already." It in a good way, and it gives a couple of the other like B tier DC characters some leverage.
yes.
I really like King Shark in the
King Shark got written just brilliantly.
they did King Shark better there than they did in the Suicide Squad animated sequel, where literally he just is he's just a Groot knockoff. Literally, the only thing he says is "King Shark is a shark," and then it's supposed to be like a punchline at the end of the movie where he's like, "It's been an honor fighting beside," like, oh, he could talk this whole time.
I
But
mean, it was that's the Justice League Dark movie that came out last year.
yeah,
And yeah, that was an odd running joke for
it,
what otherwise a dark movie.
it was, it really was. But yeah, but I like King Shark's humor in like him hating fresh fish that prisoners use, and like him literally threatening to rip people's head off for using that was
Oh, he's wonderful.
hilarious.
Oh,
Um,
he's so good.
yeah, no. Most of the characters I really like. I enjoy how Poison Ivy is done.
Yes.
Um, I really genuinely enjoy the I guess you call it the moral, more or less, of the season, where like literally, yeah, Harley's going through a lot of shit, but so is everyone in her friends group. So she's kind of got to learn to be a bit more aware of everyone else's, emotions and be a bit more empathetic. Because being selfish like that, it's not an excuse by saying that you've had it rough. So I like that. Um, yeah, it's all around. It's a pretty good show.
I think it's an absolutely fantastic show. I love that Kite Man got
I
a
know Kite
spotlight for a
Man
while. Like
actually got something.
Kite
I
Man,
I
of
was
all the
actually
people,
I was genuinely upset when Poison Ivy broke up with him. I thought their relationship was actually kind of cute. I
I
I actually kind of liked it.
I also liked it, but at the same time, like it's also the thing from the comics, and I like wanted that to happen too. So like I couldn't have my cake and eat it too. Like it's
I know,
you
but
can't have both, but they're gonna go down the path that makes more sense. But
I know, but
like
still,
poor Kite Man, I
and
still feel bad.
I know he becomes in clutch in a couple of fights
Yeah,
too, and
kites.
he they keep giving him the shaft because like that's the joke, and I get it, but at the same time, you got to stop beating a puppy eventually because it stops being funny.
Yeah, and now Harley's doing it with Booster Gold. So
Yeah,
I I want to ask you, DC, what what was the point of that? Is that even still a thing? I'm like not actually reading that book, and I don't even know if
no,
it's a
no,
thing. I was like,
I can tell you for a fact, DC has not understood Booster Gold in at least 30
no,
years,
no,
maybe more
I'm just
so.
like, no,
Any
no. It's been less than that. He had some good moments like 10 years ago.
still, still, I
Trying to
basically
resurrect, trying to go back in time and save Ted Cord. That was classic Booster Gold. That was a fantastic storyline. Everything after that.
yeah, but then they also had that one storyline where he was inspired by the tentacle monster, like the starfish tentacle monster that
Oh
tortured
god.
Superman into like emotionally traumatizing him because he has to like give up his family and a perfect life to go back to being good. He's like, I'm gonna do that for real. And
For
so
Batman.
he
Great
goes
idea.
back in time as a wedding present to Batman. He's going to go back in time, save his family to show Batman they're better off dead. Except Batman can't learn that lesson because he's living in a reality where they never died and he never became Batman. And so he then has to fit.
It
That
was
man,
what Tom. All right, I'm not the kind of person to send death threats to Tom King because I don't send death threats to people. But Tom King is a terrible fucking writer. Why the fuck is he still in charge of Batman?
mm, why is he in charge of Batman when he's a person who very clearly has shown he doesn't understand how mental health works, how mental health diseases and mental health
No.
of professionals work, and he's working on a book where the entire rogues gallery is people with health like diseases or mental health issues that they need help with.
Bring Scott Snyder back on. He was doing a better job. Bring whoever was doing the fucking I don't remember who the writer was, but during the initial uh Detective Comics Rebirth run, whoever was doing that, bring them onto Batman because they knew what they were fucking doing.
Yeah,
Tom King needs to just leave that book. He needs to go somewhere else. Like I'm not gonna go say fire Tom King, get him out of here. But like he needs to go somewhere else. So, like
yeah.
just do a different book.
So wait,
Just please.
are we now on to say oh DC and Warner Brothers are we on to that episode now? Because we
No,
kind of
no.
we're
Shut
still
up.
talking
No.
about
We're
things.
supposed to be talking about good things, god damn it. And that's not even none of that shit was even from this from 2020. Like it's just tangents. God
Yeah,
damn it.
okay, tangents, but yeah. So Harley Quinn, I enjoyed it.
I can also highly recommend the Harley Quinn show. It is really good. I hope we get a season 3. I really do. Um the weird live fan Q&A that they did for the what was it, the fandom event, that was also really funny.
Hmm.
uh More of that, please. It's just like just it's just one of those shows where they just curse randomly and it's like I
Yeah,
get I understand how you speak. I
yeah.
speak it too. um Talked a lot about TV. There were quite a few movies that I want to recommend that came out last year.
That's probably more your thing because I actually didn't see too many movies this year,
Okay. Um,
unfortunately.
I gotta start out with because every year I do a top 10 best and top 10 worst list of the year.
Oh yeah, I was on the worst list
Yeah,
this year.
he got a shout out because he helped me bring Artemis Fowl down, like really far down. I was honestly debating whether it or Mulan should be number one.
Yeah, no, but I understand your hate on for Mulan, so it's totally fine.
My hate boner for Mulan will not be quelled, and we will talk about that later.
Indeed.
Um, but I got to start with what was number one, which was I I think like the second or third movie I saw in 2020, which was Just Mercy. Um, so now technically Just Mercy came out in 2019 to like because it got released in on Christmas of 2019, and the idea behind that is that so it's viable for the Academy Awards.
Uh-huh.
I get that, but for some reason, Just Mercy didn't get nominated. And I don't know whether it's because the Academy are morons or Warner Brothers just didn't pay them enough money.
I
It could
think,
be either at this
yeah,
point.
no, I think it's a little bit of both, honestly.
It probably is.
A little bit of
But
both.
holy shit. Like, this is. Just Mercy was 6 months ahead of its time. Like, really. That movie, if it had dropped in July of 2020, everyone would be talking about it. Like, it
Yeah.
was the movie of the
I
year.
mean, they got like Jamie Foxx, right?
Jamie Foxx is
Michael
a
B. Jordan
main character.
too.
Michael B. Jordan plays the main character.
These are like powerhouse names they got going on, and
Yeah,
it
they got
did.
Brie Larson in there too. Like she's pretty big too.
I know it. I haven't seen it, but it sounds like something that should just out the gate have been fantastic.
It really is. It is a powerful movie. It just etches into your soul and you just can't forget it. I want to get a special shout out, and I'm saying special because I'm finally getting this on video on a platform that people will actually watch possibly. Rob Morgan, he plays just a small part in this movie about he's a death row inmate who you actually watch him get executed,
Yeah.
and his performance is just it's unreal.
Is it like the Green Mile levels of like
Yeah, it's like
being?
dude, I'm thinking about it. I'm getting chills. I
Mm,
can feel the tears welling up in my eyes. It is just powerhouse acting, and
mm.
it's a big part. He is a minor character. Like I just have to emphasize how moving that character arc was. Is It is excellently done. It has an amazing score. It is beautiful to look at, but also really hard to look at sometimes because it is a harsh movie. It does not hold its punches.
That's a good.
Which is
That's a good.
very good for it being about death row.
Hmm.
Like you have, like I think it is one of those movies that I'm like, now that it's available on DVD, like this should be a film that you teach in school. Like
I
this
that
story
sounds
that you
good.
talk about,
That sounds good.
and that is honestly the only reason that I put it ahead of the movie that I had at number two. Because realistically, the movie I had at number two, I love it more as a movie. Like it really it resonated with me more. But Just
Are
Mercy
you
is
going to
just
tell the audience what the number two movie was so they can understand?
yes. I just have to say that I switched around because Just Mercy is one of those movies that it needs to be seen.
Mm.
Whereas the one that I'm about to talk about, it's for me. It's my favorite. I love it. But like Just Mercy is like I'm urging all of you who have gotten this far in. I know this is like over an hour in, but like watch Just Mercy, please. Um, so the movie I had number two, which I've been recommending this to basically everyone who's asked for movie recommendations. It's a movie called Spontaneous,
Mm.
and it's it's just so fucking. I don't even have the words to describe it right now. Okay, so here's the setup. All right, it's a high school senior class.
Mm-hmm.
They're gearing up for their final year. You know, characters are like talking about going to college, and they do all this other stuff, and they're just sitting down having a room. All of a sudden, one of their classmates explodes. Literally,
Fantastic. Blows
that
up.
is that is the premise. It is it is bloody. It is hilarious. It is romantic. Those are weird things to string along, but it's true. Like, I just
Interesting.
want to emphasize quick spoilers if you really want to watch this movie without spoilers, like skip a few minutes ahead. Like, I knew what the premise was going in. I knew it was about kids exploding, and I was
Mm-hmm.
cool with that. And but like I thought, oh, you know, it's gonna be like 15, 20 minutes. You know, they're gonna set up these characters, things are gonna happen, and then boop, oh no, people start exploding. What do we do? And you know, so I'm sitting down. I'm like, it's like just sitting down, trying to get comfortable while I'm listening to the opening narration. Like 2 minutes in, bang! It
Yeah.
like scared me. Like it was loud. It's like, pfft. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck? It's like that sets the tone for how the movie is. It sets you up for what you want to, for what you'd expect, and then it just fucking knocks that down. It says, "Shame on you for thinking that. This is what really happened."
That's
And
incredible.
it's every single time I was I was ready for it to go down such a boring, overused storyline, and it looks like it's going that down, and then it suddenly zigzags away. Like,
Well then.
I was genuinely caught off guard at least 4 times during watching this movie, and that almost never happens. Like, and I think the biggest compliment I can give it is that it got me a very passionate asexual aromantic completely invested in a high school romance.
Oh wow.
Like,
That seems impossible.
I know, right? I was so invested in this romance, and then it cruelly takes it away from you, and it's just such a great moment, and I felt my heart drop when it happened. And then I noticed it, and I was like, that's good storytelling. That's how you do it. And I fucking loved it. I recommend it to just everyone. Like, I will admit it can get a little teen angsty
Mm-hmm.
and very nihilistic, but I'm into those things, so you know it works for me. But it is very much that. But at least it gives a reason why someone would be so nihilistic. Literally, their classmates are just exploding, and no one knows who's next. Like,
Yeah.
I would be too. I get it. It sets itself up so nicely so that you can't really poke that many holes in it. And I absolutely highly recommend that. Um, what else? Uh, Francis Ford Coppola re-edited The Godfather Part 3. That
Didn't
happened,
wasn't
I
the
guess.
the murder wasn't it like the murder of Michael Corleone or
I think
something or
that it's called Coda, and I think it's the death of Michael Corleone, something like that. I
oh
haven't watched
you can see how little we paid attention to it.
it. It just sort of happened. Kevin was the one who posted about it. That's how I first heard about it, and it's just like, that's okay, that's a thing.
And
Fair
I
enough.
don't I mean I'm fine as long as the creative visionary behind something is the one going back doing it. I guess I'm fine
Like
with
picked it up
recut
today.
reshoots, but nah.
I picked up a copy today, and I'm hoping to get to it soon. Um, I haven't watched The Godfather Part 3 in a very long time, so I like.
It I can understand that because boy was it not liked or good. Remember the incest?
Well,
The
oh god,
incest.
you know, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. People ask me what I'm referencing to that, and always say, "Oh, it's The Sopranos."
Mm-hmm.
This is The Sopranos, man. Um,
I mean, really, the only movie that came out this year is I saw the Disney Plus version of Hamilton. It's basically
I mean,
that's basically what I got.
if you want to watch Hamilton but can't afford Broadway tickets, I mean that's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, And if you want to see the Academy Award basically being stuffed shirt and complaining about newfangled means of artistry, there's Hamilton for you as well.
Yeah.
In a world where Sonic the Hedgehog
God.
got nominated for Best Picture of the Year, Hamilton, no, 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 that's not a film.
That's not
No,
a
no.
film. No, 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 no. It's just a movie that you could watch, but it's a play.
Yeah, that's
Hollywood, like, wait, go make a real movie, Hamilton. Lin-Manuel Miranda, and he's like, but I did make a film, and y'all delayed it.
yeah. I did make a film. It's almost like, hey, these aren't actually films. These are theater productions, which are kind of harder to put on than films because you don't get to edit them and you have to act all in one go. If you couldn't tell, I have a lot more respect for theater actors than I ever have film actors. What a
As you
con.
should.
But yeah, so I was kind of dried.
Yeah.
Film entertainment.
I watched that was Onward. That was pretty good. That was a good Pixar movie. But I mean, like, Pixar making a good movie is like that's like not a feat.
Yeah, I was honestly a little bit surprised you were so iffy on or not iffy, you were so disappointed, I guess, with Soul.
I was disappointed with Soul.
That was one film I did actually see this year.
I'm going to talk about that when we're going to do an episode on Disney in a bit. I'll talk more on my thoughts on that later. But just know that I really did not enjoy that movie. But I did like Onward a lot. I thought that was really cute and really fun.
Pretty unconventional, I gotta say.
Yeah, it was pretty unconventional.
Which is good. It can be good, yeah.
Which is usually good, especially when Pixar's involved, because they always like to push their boundaries of what they can do.
Yeah.
What else? Bop was pretty fucking good. Birds of Prey.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Look. I'm hip with the kids, so I thought Bop, because Bop is a way to describe music. But Birds of Prey, yeah. I prefer the Harley Quinn show a bit more than Margot Robbie's take on Harley Quinn, if I'm being honest.
I agree with you. End of sentence. I agree with you.
I'm sorry.
But it's just a good movie. Like, it's still, like, the characterization is still there for everyone except for Cass. But
yeah, except for Cassandra Cain, which sucks because she's one of the best Batgirls that's ever been. So the fact that they took away everything unique about her and basically just made her a petulant little child kind of is a bit upsetting.
That hurt. That did hurt a little bit, but really, when you think about it, that's 1 out of 7 main characters that they fucked up.
Yeah,
everyone else.
The Black Mask was better in Batman Origins, though, in the video game. Even though it wasn't really even Black Mask.
I disagree with that. I think this is the first time ever I have actually enjoyed watching Black Mask as a villain or as a character.
As a character in general, what, you didn't like him when he was the fake-out character for Husk?
No. I did enjoy it when Jason Todd blew his head off in Death in a Family.
That was pretty good. Are you sure you just don't like Ewan McGregor? Are you sure it's just not you just really love Ewan McGregor?
That probably has something to do with it, yeah. I'll admit to that.
Ewan McGregor somehow manages to get perfect performances out of shit. Like, he was everyone's favorite thing in the Star Wars prequels consistently. Yeah. So maybe that's just why. Because, quite honestly, I don't think the Black Mask is a character you can improve or make worse. He's just a bad mobster character. He's just kind of there.
That's kind of his thing. He's just like, oh, I'm a mobster, but I have a mask.
I'm a mobster, except I wear a mask, so I'm basically just a less powerful Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess Birds of Prey retroactively improved on Suicide Squad again, because Suicide Squad tried to legitimize the Joker and Harley's relationship, which is not how it's supposed to be. But so I guess it's got that going for it.
Yeah, but it's gonna be great lead-in for the Suicide Squad.
No, it's not.
Shut up! I'm so excited for that movie.
I refuse to shut up. I'm not. Look, I'm sorry. We're going to get to this later. I do not have that much trust in Warner Brothers or DC. Anyways,
my faith in Warner Brothers is aside. I have I have faith. I have faith in the director. I have faith in him.
Okay, if you say so,
Hey,
I'm
come on.
wary.
He managed to make he managed to strike gold twice in the happiness sweatshop that is Disney.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll just see. I'm just gonna put it. We'll see.
Um, what else? Anything else worth noting? The Willoughbys was pretty fucking amazing. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, Netflix has really good unique animations going
Yeah,
for it.
there's a lot of weird shit on there that's really fun. I like
Claws has another one that's
Claws
got
is also really
a
good.
fantastic movie with a very unique animation style.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's all I got.
Yeah, that's like half my list already. I mean, there was other things. I could talk about the Impractical Jokers movie if I really wanted to, but like,
Mm,
I don't think
it's just
anyone
a
wants me to.
show in a movie format.
Yeah, but it's a good show and it
It's just
translated well.
Jackass the movie for a new decade.
Yeah, but they're making Jackass 4, so like whatever. But yeah, I think this has been going on for quite a while. I think positive. That was mostly positive, right? Right? It's a
Uh,
positive.
Look, I'm not gonna ask you to edit in how long we were rambling about things we hated in this best of section, but I'm
Oh,
just
I'm
saying
putting it all in.
you
Like, can you
could,
imagine?
you could do it.
I could edit it all out and just have a long list of things that we hate.
Yeah,
We could do that, but we won't because I don't want to do it. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. I think it's pretty long, so that's a good
yeah,
place to cut it. Um, we'll see you in the next one where we actually go on about things we don't like for most of them.
yeah.